Well, thank you very much for coming. This event kicks off our speaker series for 2026, and I'm honored to say tonight we have President and CEO of Brookfield Zoo, Mike Adkesson, with us tonight. Trained as a veterinarian, Mike has been the head of the zoo for about 5 years now. And some of you may or may not know that the original Brookfield Zoo land was donated by a Lake Forest resident, Edith Rockefeller McCormick, who donated 83 acres quite a while ago. And since then, the zoo has expanded greatly. Right now, it's more than 200 acres, and there are more than 3,500 animals there. And it welcomes about 2 million visitors a year, which is pretty amazing. One of the biggest attractions in the whole Midwest. Anyway, the zoo's going to get bigger. I'm sure Mike will touch upon the next century plan, which is in motion right now, along with many other topics. So anyway, thank you, Mike, for being here, and take it away.
Thank you. All right. Well, thank you so much for having me here tonight. I'm really very excited to be here, and hopefully, we'll give you a little bit of a uh, preview of some of the exciting things that we have in store. But first, I'm just going to give you a little bit of a story about Brookfield through Chicago, a little bit of a story around conservation in general and the challenges that are facing so many of our wildlife species around the globe. And then I'll kind of share what we're doing about it and where we're headed. For anybody that's not been to Brookfield Zoo in a while, consider this an open invitation. Feel free to reach out to me or my colleague Ann, and we would be happy to set up a visit for you. So with that, I'll jump right in. Thank you, David, for the introduction. And since we opened our gates in 1934, Brookfield Zoo has been just an absolute gem for the Chicagoland community. As David said, we sit on 235 acres of land that belongs to the forest preserves of Cook County. And this is a view from the top of our Ferris wheel that I love this shot because it always just sort of drives home the amount of forest that still exists within Cook County. And we're so blessed to have that incredible landscape around the zoo. And you can see we're not that far away from the city, too. People sometimes think we're so far west we're in Iowa, but it's really not that bad of a drive to come out of the city to visit us. We are home to thousands of animals representing hundreds of different species. And I talk with a lot of photos, so there's going to always kind of be a slideshow clicking away here next to me. But we have so many incredible animals that it's just such an opportunity to just share with people the work that we do and the critically endangered animals and wildlife that we work with. Our vision is to be a recognized leader in influencing people's actions towards conservation programs and wildlife and to teach them to value nature. And that vision guides every encounter and every interaction that we have. Our mission is simple. It's to inspire conservation leadership by connecting people with wildlife and nature. And whether we do that through educational outreach programs or we do that through our research and our science initiatives or just the unforgettable experience that families have when they come and spend a day at the zoo, we strive to move people from just awareness to action and making people actually take steps to conserve the world around them and the incredible wildlife that call it home. We welcome over 2 million guests every year, then that includes hundreds of thousands of students via the programs that we operate, from field trips to summer camps, and helping to instill a love of nature and that appreciation for wildlife in the next generation. We also play a critically vital role within the economy of our region, contributing over $160 million of economic activity to the local economy every year. With our $78 million operating budget, we employ more than 1,100 staff. We're supported by an incredibly generous volunteer group that contributes 25,000 hours to the zoo every year. And we're proud to be just a community asset with the number of member households that we have supporting the zoo. This year, the zoo turns 92 years old, and so a little video clip here that is not going. All right, well, it we'll do without that. Video is always touching. I never count on it. But this year we'll turn 92 years old, and this is actually Edith Rockefeller McCormick here in this photo on the far right, the second one in, and she's the one that had the vision for bringing a world-class zoo to Chicago to construct that zoo and a concept of these open spaces and open grottos for animals, and it was revolutionary at the time when the zoo was built. A philanthropist herself, she is the reason that we're here. And flash forward a few years to 1934, the zoo's opening. The society was founded in 1921. It took over a decade to actually build the zoo. This is Dan Ryan himself with the shovel there, turning over that first shovel full of dirt at the groundbreaking of our organization. And so we've just been enmeshed within Chicago's culture from the very beginning. And I dare to say that I think we're aging gracefully and some grace and sophistication. But our story at Brookfield Zoo is one that's rooted in a really simple and powerful mantra, and that's our connect, care, conserve, which is more than a tagline for us. It really encapsulates the mission and what we're all about. If we can change hearts and minds, then we really have a chance to save species and better our planet. So our work always starts with a spark, and it's moments like this where it's that first kind of connection between somebody and wildlife. From there, we build a sense of caring, and hopefully that eventually moves us to a place of empathy and awareness. And from that point of caring is where we really can move people to conserve. So I'm going to kind of walk through these as just some framing through my talk, and connect is the first piece there that we always talk about. And one of the things that I really love about zoos and aquariums is that in this sort of divided and polarized world that we live in at times, where it seems like people can never agree on anything, uh, hopefully zoos and aquariums will remain one of those things that we can all agree on. And people, regardless of their background or their political beliefs or their religious beliefs, we all find this connection to wildlife so powerful. And who doesn't love just kind of gazing up at a giraffe and having that kind of magical experience? Um, it's the impact that accredited zoos across our country have is just incredibly powerful. And Brookfield Zoo, Shedd Aquarium, and Lincoln Park Zoo represent nearly 7 million visits every year between the three of us. And that 7 million people is more than every sports fan who attends all five of our professional sports teams put together. So it is a incredible amount of people that move through the gates of our zoos and aquariums here in Chicago every year. Um, and we're proud to be part of the museums and cultural organizations within Chicago. There's 16 of us that make up Museums in the Park and allied organizations. And collectively, all of us have over 13.5 million guests that move through our doors every year. For zoos, I think that level of engagement really speaks to this just deep desire that we have to be around animals and to connect with wildlife. And it underscores just the unique position that we have. In total, since we opened our gates in 1934, over 165 million people have come through Brookfield Zoo. And that's just an astonishing number to think about. And I kind of reflect on that a lot. And it's those memories that families have made. Most of us have a memory of going to the zoo as a kid or being there with our grandparents or grandparents coming with their grandchildren. There's just all these connections that bring everything together. Um, for us, Brookfield Zoo Chicago connections come to life in really unforgettable ways. And in our Hamill Family Nature Plaza, our North American Prairie Aviary invites guests to the story of Illinois' disappearing grasslands and connect people to the fragile future of some of the most precious wildlife that we have here in our region. Sandhill cranes are a species that are in this aviary that are iconic, and people really find just a powerful connection to these birds. But not to be outdone is the prairie chicken, and this is one that many people don't even know about. But there are currently fewer than 100 prairie chickens left in the state of Illinois. And that number is down from hundreds of millions of prairie chickens back in the 1800s. This is a species that has just collapsed as we've turned grasslands into agriculture and disrupted habitat throughout the state. But there's powerful conservation work going on behind prairie chickens throughout the entire Midwest region. There's some reintroduction work going on in southern Illinois, and this is a species that we're trying to bring back. And they're a really, really neat animal. Um, The Amur tiger is another one that we talk about a lot with our zoo. There's fewer than 100 of these animals left in the wild right now. This is one of the most critically endangered big cat species in the world. And our pair and the cubs that we had last year continue to captivate hearts and minds. They've started countless conversations around the plight of this species and what we can all do to help protect and conserve it. And it's not just the animals that form these bonds and connections. We also rely on a whole bunch of other opportunities, and this is our Roaring Nights concert series that we started last about 4 years ago. This has transformed summer nights at the zoo into a space of shared celebration. It's pulled the new audiences in. We have people that come to our concerts that say, "Gosh, I haven't been to the zoo in forever." I'm so glad I'm here, and now that I'm here, and at this concert, I'm going to make sure I come back, and I'm going to spend time going through the rest of the zoo. And so, really relying on that kind of joyful communal space is such a great opportunity for us to engage new audiences. Over the last year, we've welcomed an incredible array of new arrivals to the zoo. These are some of our spider monkeys that were rescued as confiscated animals in the illegal pet trade. So these animals were stolen away from their parents in the wild and trafficked into the United States and intercepted at the border. And they've now found a forever home in our new James and Elizabeth Bramson tropical forests. Um, Female polar bear, Amelia Gray, arrived last year from Oregon Zoo to be part of our polar bear conservation and breeding program. We're hoping that she's going to help sustain populations of this incredible animal in zoos for years to come. And we welcomed some American flamingo chicks last year who continue to grow the size of our flock of flamingos, which if you need a trivia night tidbit here, a flock of flamingos is actually called a flamboyance. So that's a good one to drop out if you're trying to make yourself stand out. So our flamboyance of flamingos continues to grow every year, and these are the wonderful newest additions. And at the other end of our spectrum, we've got Lucky the dolphin, who just celebrated his 50th birthday last year. Lucky is a really incredible animal. He's a survivor of a fishing net entanglement as a young animal that rendered him non-releasable, and so he was pulled into human care. And as an adult, he's now a survivor of squamous cell carcinoma and has been under treatment for that cancer for several years. He's an incredible inspiration to so many people. This was his 50th birthday. You can see the number of people that came through to sign Lucky's giant birthday card. And he's really living proof, I think, to me, of just that lifelong connection that forms between animals and people. And he's really a very special guy. I've got a flute print of him above my desk at home, and just an awesome, awesome animal. At 50 years old, though, he's not our oldest animal. You might think he would be, but Adelaide, one of our echidnas, which is a little small monotreme or similar to a marsupial that lives in Australia, Adelaide is actually 56 years old. She's the oldest animal at our zoo right now, and her birthday this past year went viral on Instagram with 1.4 million people flagging her little story. And in truly unforgettable fashion, she celebrated that 56th year of her life with a puggle, which is a baby echidna. So she had a baby at 56 years. God help her. But this is her second puggle, and it's actually only the second puggle that's been born at Brookfield Zoo in our history. So they're a really incredible and unique animal, and we're so excited to be seeing this breeding program moving forward. Each of these stories, each of those animals that I just shared with you, they all have an opportunity to really help foster that connection and care and make those connections between our guests and our friends and our animals. And they're an opportunity for us to engage new supporters and new audiences. And they're a powerful opportunity for us to change the hearts and minds of our detractors who may see no place for zoos in modern society. Even in the US, the richest country in the world, we know that most people are never going to see a leopard in the Serengeti. They're never going to encounter a tiger in the forests of India. They're most likely never going to scuba dive the Great Barrier Reef, and they may not even snorkel in the Gulf of Mexico. But our beloved animals at the zoo can really connect those people. They can make those moments. They can make those experiences that help people understand the threats and the challenges and the perils that are facing wildlife in nature. And that's really our point is, we need people to care. So as we move from that connection to caring, um, we're in a really tough spot in our world right now, and the reality is that we have crises everywhere we turn right now, and perhaps in the midst of all of that crisis, I think we're more blind than ever to, what is potentially one of the biggest crises that we've ever faced on our planet, and that is really this dual threat of biodiversity loss, the loss of animals, the loss of species, coupled with climate change coming in on top of that and changing the habitats around the globe. And at Brookfield Zoo, that is really what motivates so much of what we do. Um, Over the past 50 years, wildlife populations around the globe have decreased by 73%, which is just an astonishing thing to think about. And if you put that differently, it's basically saying that we've lost three-quarters of the wildlife on our planet over the last half of a century, and it's just an astonishing thing to stop and think about. Extinction rates are climbing ever higher. 28% of all assessed animal species today are being threatened with extinction. And this is the challenge that zoos and aquariums are really focused on and really racing to try and address this species loss. But for every species like the ones on this slide, the California condor, the black-footed ferret, the Mexican gray wolf, the North American bison, for all of the species like that zoos have truly saved, there's thousands others that are just slipping through our fingers every day. Indicators of biodiversity continue to decline as humans and livestock continue to just take away planetary space from the wildlife. And collectively, these changes are leading to ecosystem collapses that are really spanning all continents and all oceans. We're simply deforesting land faster than the earth can recover. We're clearing and altering landscapes faster than it can recover, exploiting our oceans, emitting carbon dioxide, all of these different things that we're doing to damage the earth and just doing it faster than the planet can really recover. And that's really a fundamental change that we've got to make here in terms of how humans interact with animals and how we interact with the planet. And zoos are really just an incredible opportunity for us to share those messages with the public and to foster that sense of caring. This is a slide that I always really just find fascinating is that human-made mass, things that people have made, now exceeds all of the living biomass on our entire planet. Put more, pointedly, human-made stuff outweighs all of the life on our planet. There's twice as much plastic now on this planet as there is animal life. And there are more buildings and infrastructure built on this planet than there are plants and trees and shrubs on this planet. Despite our best efforts to recycle, 8 million pieces of plastic make their way into our oceans every single day, and they join over 150 million tons of plastic that is now floating in our planet's water supply. Human populations continue to grow from 2.5 billion people in 1950 to 8 billion today to a projected 2 billion more over the next 30 years. But on top of all of that, I think the thing that is the most worrisome is that we're in the midst of this global disconnect from nature. And time spent outdoors exploring the world has just declined so dramatically due to lack of access to green spaces, due to digital technology and screens that are in front of us all the time, and this rising fear of parents not wanting their kids to have this unsupervised play outside in the natural world that, all of us grew up just being kicked out of the house and go find something to do. And it's gone today. It's just not the way that we treat our children. A recent study found that one-third of children are now spending under 30 minutes outside every day, and one in two children is outside for less than an hour. Putting that differently, children today are spending less time outside every day than U.S. prison inmates who are guaranteed 2 hours of outdoor time daily for their well-being. And it's happening at possibly the worst possible time in human history. It's leading to all kinds of consequences in our children, leading populations to have decreased empathy for wildlife, lower environmental awareness, and increased anxiety. And if we choose to think about nature sort of only through the lens of a screen and we don't learn to feel it, how are we going to ever expect our children to care about conserving wildlife on the planet? So for me, that's where zoos play such a critical role in our society, and we play such an opportunity to be part of the solution to that problem. We have a zoo for all philosophy where we ensure access and inclusion for all of our guests coming through the zoo. those with disabilities, seniors, veterans, underserved and underrepresented communities. We want everyone to feel welcome. We want everybody to be part of the community that we have at the zoo. From narrated tours for seniors to income-based scholarships to our sold-out zoo camp program, we make sure that wonder isn't a privilege, but it's a right, and that people are always welcome and always able to come to the zoo. Last year, we distributed over 116,000 free passes to our community partners, and 140,000 school children came through our gates on free zoo field trips. We welcomed over 57,000 people through the Museums for All Access program, which gives free admission to the zoo to anyone with a SNAP or EBT benefit card. And our education and conservation teams continue to grow. Last year, our King Conservation Leadership Academy continued to nurture young conservationists through field trips, hands-on science activities, and courses that build skills and knowledge and work opportunities for them. Zoos offer accessible, high quality education and nature experiences for millions, and especially those in urban communities who may otherwise not have that opportunity to connect with wildlife and nature. Um, Over 700 million people in total visited a zoo or aquarium last year. It's about 10% of the world's entire population. So it's truly an opportunity. If we can make movement at scale, we can really change the course of our collective impact on this planet. And that's where zoos really come into play from a conservation standpoint. And I believe, incredibly firmly that zoos are a critical part of the solution to what we're facing in our planet. And the IUCN, which is the International Union for Conservation and Nature, that is the world authority on the state of nature in our world. That is who decides if animals are endangered or threatened or how their populations are doing. It's a truly collaborative global community that makes up IUCN. And last year they put out this pivotal position statement that long overdue sort of formally recognized the role that botanic gardens, aquariums, and zoos all play in species conservation. And the quote at the end of that I always like is the role is often undervalued, underrecognized, and misunderstood. And I think that really sums up the challenges that zoos and aquariums has faced, is that we for years and years have done all this work behind the scenes and have just not had the ability to put it out in front of the public the way that we should have. We as an organization are proud to work within the Association of Zoos and Aquariums Saving Animals from Extinction program, where we've made strong commitments to 15 different species, from bisons to turtles to orangutans. And those partnerships are all about strategy and survival and collaboration across AZA members. In total, AZA has invested over $1 billion in wildlife conservation over the last 5 years, and that comes from the 235 plus zoos that make up AZA. But that's an incredible amount of money when we think about nonprofit contributions to wildlife and conservation. Zoos are doing an incredible amount of work that is just not being recognized because it's spread across all of us. In addition to our own efforts, we have a 38-year-old endangered species fund that we operate at Brookfield Zoo that supports 18 different programs this last year in 7 different countries, ranging from wild dogs in Tanzania to Humboldt penguins in Peru. We operate an incredible conservation program for this species. Does anybody know what this is? It's a good, what? Tamandua? Good guess. Close. It starts with a P, also correct. This is a pangolin. Pangolin. So this is a white-bellied pangolin. It's also known as a scaly anteater. Which is very similar to Tamandua, which is a lesser anteater. They have an incredibly long tongue that comes out about a foot out of their mouth that they use to collect little ants and termites and other bugs. But it's not an uncommon thing where I ask a room of people what this is and nobody knows. And this is one of the most endangered species on our planet right now in terms of mammals. There are 8 different species of pangolins. They're all critically endangered. They're the most trafficked mammal on the planet right now, where their scales are sought after for Eastern medicine, and their meat is sought after for the bush meat trade. Asian species were decimated first, and as those populations bottomed out, there's 4 species in Africa that all started being hunted and trafficked and shipped overseas. Um, we are the only zoo in the country where you can see a pangolin in person. We are one of 2 zoos in the United States to house them. We are part of a collaborative program across multiple different zoos aimed at protecting this animal. Um, they are an incredible species, and we started working with them a decade ago, and we're now the leading institution in terms of understanding this species and being able to successfully reproduce it. Our North American Pangolin Consortium continues to advance veterinary science and care behind this species. And, for us, we knew that if we waited, this is a species that we were potentially going to lose right off of the face of the planet without even understanding some of its most basic biology. And so we have put a tremendous amount of work into this animal. We are now into the second generation of pangolin that were born under our care. This is a little pango pup, is what we call them. Just got to make that up because when you don't know what to call it, you get to make up the name for it. So this is a pango pup. Um, we've now seen the birth of 10 animals at our zoo, and they have an incredibly long gestation period. So this is an animal that, based on its small size, you think would have a litter of offspring and crank it out every 90 days or so. But in reality, they produce one offspring on about a 9-month gestation period. So the opportunity to build a breeding program under our care is slow. And the real concern is the rate at which this animal could rebound or recover, even if protected, is going to be incredibly slow. But we're very committed to it. We're also committed to this one. This is a bird that many people are also just totally unfamiliar with. This is the Guam kingfisher. This is a species that has been extinct in the wild since the 1980s. The introduction of tree snakes accidentally on the island of Guam decimated this animal who had no natural defense to snakes. Um, but in partnership with U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service, we've been working to conserve this animal ever since it was first brought out of the wild in the 1980s to save the last few birds of its kind. We have a huge number of them at Brookfield Zoo. We're one of the largest groupings of them, and working with Fish and Wildlife, we are incredibly proud last year that one of these birds from our flock, named Zasas, was reintroduced onto the Palmyra Atoll near Guam and represents the first step in trying to get these animals back into the wild. This bird's a symbol of hope that's been decades in the making at this point as we've tried to stabilize this species under our care. We foster a long-standing multi-agency recovery around the Mexican gray wolf. This is another species that was extinct in the wild and through captive breeding programs in zoos is now slowly being reintroduced back into the wild. Most of that reintroduction work is as pups. So pups are born at our zoo in Chicago. We move those animals down to sites in New Mexico and Arizona and are able to slip those pups into the den with a mother who has her own pups, and she'll care for them as if they're her own. And so it's a great way for us to bolster the size of the litters of animals being put back into the wild. And then meanwhile, in Florida, Brookfield Zoo Chicago is involved with over 48 different projects covering everything from research and education to conservation and science work. And our team down there operates the Sarasota Dolphin Research Program. We have about a dozen Brookfield Zoo staff who are based permanently in Florida. And this is a longest running study of a wild dolphin population anywhere in the world, over 50 years worth of data that has been coming out of this program to inform science and policy making around conservation of wild dolphins. Um, the team does in the water work with these animals. So animals are pulled out of the water for health assessment work. They're pulled out of the water for conservation programming to better understand how we can protect and conserve wild dolphin populations, evaluation of red tide events, changes in food and prey availability. It's an incredible program and just continues to make so much impact on the conservation of wild dolphins. They last year, year before last, started working with Atlantic spotted dolphins also. So you're looking at the photo of the very first ever Atlantic spotted dolphin with a telemetry tag on it to track where it goes. And this work was only possible because of the incredible basic work that we developed with the bottlenose dolphins in order to understand how to safely and successfully get our hands on these spotted dolphins and then be able to put tags. And it's lending data back to science on where this animal goes, its diving patterns, its foraging patterns that we never would have been able to understand if we didn't do that baseline work with bottlenose dolphin. Globally in Peru, this is a site called Punta San Juan. Our team works with South American sea lions and fur seals, as well as critically endangered Humboldt penguins. We've been monitoring at this site for almost 20 years, working with all kinds of basic science and conservation programming projects to understand the health and well-being of these populations and what we can do to conserve them. They've been absolutely devastated over the last couple of years with avian influenza outbreaks along the coast of South America that have decimated the seabird and penguin populations and also interestingly crossed into the sea lion populations. So we've got avian influenza outbreaks happening in sea lions that have also decimated that population. So despite those challenges, our teams are down there. They're working hands-on with these animals, and we're doing our best to understand what we can do to support and foster their recovery. And then here at home in the Chicagoland region, our team is doing incredible work with a number of different turtle species, looking at turtle diseases and challenges around a fungal disease that has emerged within local turtle populations, trying to help the critically endangered Blanding's turtle and influencing statewide conservation action plans for the recovery of many of our turtle species. We continue to expand partnerships. We've got an incredible program with wildlife experts on our team at Brookfield Zoo Chicago, with the University of Illinois College of Veterinary Medicine and the Cook County and DuPage County Forest Preserve districts. Um, with 11% of Cook County is within in the forest preserve system, which is just an amazing thing to think about. And it's one of our region's most prized assets is the amount of land that we have protected within our forest preserve districts throughout the Chicagoland community. It's just an incredible opportunity for us to be able to work so closely on land that's owned by the forest preserves at the zoo and with the partnerships within that biology program to really make a true impact on these wildlife populations. And then last year, 2025 also marked growth of a number of different really neat science and research programs. I'll highlight just two of them here. This is our CT scanner in our zoo hospital. We were one of the first zoos to have a CT on site at the zoo, and we're incredibly excited to have developed a zoo and aquarium radiology database project. It's a multi-zoo project developing reference material and reference data through a federal IMLS grant to create this database for zoos around the globe to be able to access studies and materials around the work that we're doing. Our veterinary teams are just amazing. The work that they do, the care that they provide our animals. I always remark that our animals receive better medical care than most of our pets do, and certainly better than billions of people on this planet do. They are incredibly well cared for. This year, we launched a pioneering project developing a blood bank for zoo species. So it's always a challenge when you've got a situation where you need blood and you often don't have another one of the animal that you can get to, or if you do, it may not be compatible. And so this blood bank is working with ultra cold frozen preserved blood, really unique cutting edge separation techniques for those blood samples and the ability to preserve them long term so that we have opportunities for transfusion in critical patients. But each of those actions, every animal that we work with, every ecosystem that we improve or animal that we save is really a step forward towards a better and a healthier planet. And so that for us is, again, back to that connect, care, conserve mantra that we talk about all the time, and moving people from that point of connection with an animal to that point of really understanding the bigger picture and what they can do to help conserve. As we look to our future, I told you I would wrap up with a little bit of a sneak peek of some of the things that are ahead for us as an organization. Last year, we opened the James and Elizabeth Bramson Tropical Forest Project. This started with a bold vision 3 years ago to get our gorillas and our orangutans outside. And we talked about these animals that have been inside a tropic world, which many of you may remember, this big giant indoor rainforest habitat. It was state of the art when it was built, but as time has marched on and our understanding of welfare of our animals has changed, getting these animals outside was something that was really important to us. And we talked about wanting to have the grass under their feet and the sunlight in their eyes. And over the course of 3 years, we moved forward with this incredible project to transform the outside former West Mall of the zoo into these dynamic 3 acres of space for our animals to be outside and to experience that whole new element. This was the largest project in Brookfield Zoo's history. It's a $66 million investment in the zoo and supported 300 jobs for the 3 year period, $70 million of labor income, and 24 million in taxes. So an incredible investment in our community and the zoo itself. This is a site of the overall site plan. You can see it's absolutely enormous, and it's intended to make a statement about what we're trying to achieve and the way in which we're trying to transform the zoo and really working to bring a renaissance to Brookfield Zoo Chicago. Uh, we talk about this project as a statement of what modern zoos can be, and with 2,700 square feet of glass viewing panels, we wanted our guests to feel like they were in these habitats, that they were having this immersive and up close encounter and experience with those animals in order to make those really intimate connections. It's about the future that we want for our animals, that we want them in incredible dynamic spaces, environments that challenge their daily needs and keep them stimulated from a physical and a mental standpoint. And then this project was also home to our King Conservation Leadership Academy. So this is our early childhood to teen program. The teen portion is what's featured in this building, and we wanted it to really shine prominently alongside of Brampton Tropical Forest as a way to highlight not only the animal investments that we make, but also the investments we make in education and community outreach programs. And we're just getting started. So we have just wrapped up the first phase of our next century plan. So Brampton Tropical Forest was the capstone to phase one. Our next century plan is our 15-year roadmap that will take us through our centennial celebration in 2034. And it's we talk about it as a 15-year plan, but with a 30-year vision, and it's really shaped around the overall site for the zoo and everything that we're looking to achieve within that 235-acre footprint. I know this is impossible to read. I'm not expecting you to read anything on there, but just emphasizing that if you see the blue blob here, that's Swan Lake on our property, and there's really nothing past that but woods and nature trails. And we are really envisioning our site in a way that takes advantage of that wooded space. We want to weave tapestries of animal spaces that take advantage of that incredible landscape that we have in the forest and the trees and the lake out there. So we're looking at a major expansion within that land that we own, but just a truly new way of looking at it. And within this is 14 different ecoregions of the world that we'll be highlighting. All of those are intended to give incredible spaces to the animals, but also to make this immersive journey for our guests where they feel like they've gone to a different part of the world. Um, this is our next project is around Gateway to Africa. Over the last 3 years, we've invested 93 million into the zoo, and as I said, we're just getting started. We know that what we need for Gateway to Africa is going to be even larger than that. We've got some incredible starting funding from the first phase of the campaign. We've got some incredible support from the state. But as we look to bring Gateway to Africa to life, we're looking at over 35 acres of the zoo being reshaped and redeveloped into this incredible space for our animals. It's has a vision around bringing elephants back to the zoo. They've been gone for the last 10 years. It was not an intentional decision to stop having elephants. We just knew we didn't have the right facilities to provide them the level of the care that we wanted. But so this is our challenge is now to bring them back and create the spaces and the habitats that they need to truly thrive. And we want Gateway to Africa to make you feel like you're in Africa. We want it to feel like you've been transported outside of Chicago, and are focused around these really dynamic multi-species habitats. So instead of the old zoo where you would see giraffes and then zebra and then antelope, you will now see giraffe, zebra, antelope, elephants, Nyala, kudu all mixed together within this incredible 35 acres of habitat and space that will wind you through a journey through Africa. And bringing elephants back, we feel passionately that every child in the state of Illinois should be able to see an elephant in their state, but we want that to be done in a way that we're providing the adequate needs and resources for the animals, that we have multi-generational family herds of elephants, that they have the space to roam and the space that they need to truly thrive. This is our historic pachyderm building. So where the elephants used to live inside this building, our vision is to flip that, where it's a guest facing space that looks out onto these immersive multi-species habitats. Um, this is the outside of that building. Again, just these rich, dynamic, lush outdoor habitats. This is a vision for hippos on the south side there with underwater viewing of hippos. And our iconic lions. If most of you probably have a photo of yourself or a child or a grandchild sitting on the lion statues at both our north and south gate. They're our token emblem within our logo. So they also are going to be moved out of these old 1930s cat grottos into this very nice new habitat. As you first come into the zoo, there'll be this iconic African copy and rock structure that the lions will hopefully be perched right on top of as you first come into the zoo. So that's our vision, and we feel very excited about what the future holds for us. We've got a wonderful team that is coming together to bring this vision to life. And, I always say none of it can happen without all of you. I always talk about the connections that we have with the public and our civic communities. And you help us to make our mission real, and you help us to make these types of stories possible. We're so blessed with the support that we enjoy from the Chicagoland community, and all of us help to make our animals matter. They help to make this sort of future vision for what we're trying to achieve a reality. So I invite all of you to be part of that. I started with an open invitation to come out and visit us. I'll end with that same statement. If you've not been to the zoo in a while, feel free to reach out to myself or Ann, and we would love to bring you out and show you the incredible work that we're doing and what's happening at the zoo. When we work together to connect with wildlife and move people to that point of caring and conservation, we can truly make an impact that changes the world. So thank you. I'm happy to take some questions if anybody has any, or if there's anything else you'd like me to talk about. Yes.
Well, I think your question is, as we're experiencing warmer and warmer temperatures,
Mhm.
but when you have inclement weather and you have these warm weather creatures, you
Yeah.
have these. When,
Yeah, no, that's an excellent question. So I'll share 2 points with you. So Lincoln Park Zoo just did their new Pepper Wildlife Center that was a renovation of their old lion house and is a beautiful new outdoor habitat for lions. And their challenge at the start of that was they did not want a day that their lions could not be outside. And that's probably, that was an unrealistic goal to start with, but I applaud them for, setting that bar. And through heated rock structures that the animals can sit on, through alcoves that have hot air blowing down. They actually, I think last year they had like 12 days that they did not have lions have the opportunity to choose if they wanted to be in or out. And on most of those days, they were out. It's the really coldest days of the winter where they, kind of take that choice away. But that's our vision as well, as many of these animals are much more sort of cold tolerant than we necessarily would give them credit for or kind of intuitively think about. Wildebeest are fine outside in the snow at, 10 degrees. Elephants are a huge body mass. It takes a long time to cool down. There's elephants in Calgary that are outside in the winter that actually walk out on a lake and beat their way through the ice to kind of, take a cold plunge up to their elbows. I don't think they go all the way in, but They do well as long as you provide them the opportunity to find that warmth in those kind of microclimates. For us, this vision does include an elephant care facility that's a couple acres in size as well, that would give them an opportunity to be in a very nice indoor space. We have really, from the beginning of this conceptual design process, we have just over and over said we don't want it to look like a barn. There's a lot of zoos that have built beautiful new elephant facilities that provide great care and welfare for the animals. They're great from an animal standpoint, but they look like you've walked into a giant acre, horse barn. And for us, we just said it doesn't prompt that sense of awe and connection that we want. And so we've said, we're committed to an indoor vision for elephants that still has trees and greenery planted in the back of it. It provides an incredible habitat for the animals in the middle. We want an indoor water feature in that. We're trying to develop a way to do underwater viewing for elephants. If you've ever seen an elephant underwater, it's just magical watching them swim through the water. And so we're trying to create that sense of awe in the indoor space as well as the outdoor for that part of the year that it's just too cold. Yeah.
Well, the current variety of humans. So would you try to need to source a new animal?
Yeah, it's a great question. So, by and large, there are very, very few animals today that are coming into zoos that are coming out of the wild. And when they do come out of the wild, they're almost always like a Mexican gray wolf or a pangolin that is part of a broader conservation effort to bring animals in. Most animals today that are in zoos were born in zoos. And so there's a network that very carefully manages the genetics of our populations. We work very collaboratively with other zoos, and animals are moved back and forth based on genetic compatibility to ensure that we're maintaining a robust population, as well as just individual needs or compatibility between animals. Sometimes you find that two just don't like each other, just like people. I don't want to be with that one. And so we work through those kind of behavioral aspects as well, that are almost all from zoos today. Yeah.
What about that for well, you
Yeah, yeah, sure. So I grew up in Decatur, Illinois, and my mom signed me up for a youth volunteer program when I was about 8 years old at the zoo. We joke to this day, like neither of us remember whether I actually expressed an interest in that or she was just trying to like get me out of the house for a couple afternoons a week. But either way, it stuck, and I was hooked from a very early age that I wanted to work with animals and I wanted to work in a zoo, and so. I'm a veterinarian. I went to University of Illinois vet school, and after that, did a residency program at the St. Louis Zoo to specialize into zoo and wildlife medicine, and then came to Brookfield Zoo after that as an associate veterinarian. Worked within our animal healthcare teams and led that team eventually for about 14 years before moving into the CEO position about 5 years ago. Yeah. It's a great question. They certainly can. There are diseases that both ways. There's diseases we see in zoos that we don't see in the wild. There's diseases we see in the wild that we don't see in zoos. A lot of, and I would say the biggest difference that we see in diseases in zoos that we don't see in the wild are those related with age. So animals in our care often live far longer than they would in the wild. So we deal with a lot of degenerative changes, the same things we face in terms of heart disease, in terms of kidney failure, in terms of arthritis and degenerative joint issues. So for us, there's a lot of geriatric care that comes into managing populations. We see a lot less infectious disease, which is, in the wild, we see a lot more infectious disease.
That's the practice of development.
Yeah, that's one that, we do see cancer in the wild in animals, but I'd say that's one we see more commonly in zoos. As animals live longer, they have more opportunity to develop those types of diseases.
Just dementia.
We do. It's hard to kind of characterize exactly what that is in an animal, but that is something, and we see it in dogs, we see it in zoo animals as well, where just sort of cognitive function seems to decrease and slow down with age. Yeah.
Well, great presentation, Mike.
Yeah.
A lot of great information.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Yeah.
And, if anyone wants to come up and talk to Mike right now, feel free. He'll be here for a little bit. So thanks for coming.
Yeah, thank you all.
Thank you.
Oh, thank you.
Yep.
I guess one question I think is it. Is it
Great. How great it is.
related to my age?
Oh, okay. Take him up on his invitation.
Yeah. Usually the combination of all the threats with people that are the animal on side. What's the habitat, that's something. Yeah, yeah, yes, yes, yeah. Yeah, yeah. Yeah. Yes, please do. I do. Yeah, that would be wonderful.
Yeah, I like to come back.
Yeah,
I that
yeah.
I don't like seeing all these poultry killing animals.
Yes.
I just don't like seeing things.
Yeah.
I
I feel the same part. Yeah. 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 Oh, okay. Yeah. 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 Well, yeah. Please reach out. But let's set up a we have the same thing.
Hi, so I was just curious, are you for the quick frags Kelly? He's like provide artists in the United States, and he very proud of it. For me, person, but he has a huge farm here service in Arcadia. And it's all African and he specializes in to what's the breed? Let me see what's now. Yes, if not, he's like the what's the name? Ungulate. Yeah, yeah. So it's all. So he has like black rhinos, white rhinos, and half fish, cow, deer, things, that's like it's incredible, and it's massive.
Yeah.
But he is amazing. He's selling them property, and he has been like he's worked with the national GFC and stuff because and that's still breathe like 3 days I guess
Yeah.
successful. Yeah, and so anyways, I was just like seeing you guys working on making us you know somebody and just think about where I'm him and say I don't know what's happening with the act. I mean obviously selling property and then also our veterinarians we're gonna be the staff. So anyways, I was given the privilege of being able to visit, and so I mean it was fascinating. It's mind boggling. First of all, and this is like in the middle of Southwest Florida, and nobody thinks it's here, it's been here. And it's it's like hey, it's like it's staggering.
Yeah.
So anyway, you should look into it. Brad Kendall, yeah. So, anyways, but this was great. I mean, I don't feel too. I was asking my friends, you guys, did you have like that artist who painted the giant sticks and stuff? See, area.
Right.
It's
Right. Sure.
like, oh, yeah, it's close down there. And you know, say, I'm thinking about it. But I haven't been to Brookfield since I was like a kid. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just saying you should do like that. Oh, like feature.
Yeah. Let me know.
So, yeah. Great. Okay. Thanks so much.
Oh, thank you.
Said the message. Hold on. I found you. Hey, is it
Yeah.
so then I have my advantage.
Yeah.
Have you been? I'm very drinking. Thank you. Hey, that one wants to do pictures and see. I would, thank you. Quick, the clean stay.
Oh,
And then like.
they do. They have, yeah, like, 45 minutes more. Sorry.
Is it on for those? That's it's for their birthday.
Yeah.
I read some of course. Yeah. Reading wonders that this way of get kind of win. So I go games that's fun. Yeah, and we'll appreciate you not very much. Is that what this was?
Well,
Yeah, well, good. Mine is sometimes saying that yeah, actually, but it's perfect. She thought, give us everything on the house. It's just nice. You wouldn't have been there but around now and then. Well, yeah, it sucks. 45 jobs. And yeah. This next time for only not so much if you're living in a resident and if if a lot of bigger and young and it's graduating then he's freshman for now years and we're all agent and when the oh okay first times when I was telling you I was dosed with that
yeah.
he goes to a career. Okay. Sharon. Oh, I told me.
Oh, my goodness.
Even yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I had to get for 3 hours. 7. Possibly feeding
Yeah.
fixing for the
Yeah.
saying that's that's right. They're taking it worse. Serious.
Yes.
There's work. Wasn't doing it. Where's the one of those ones? I did. Two friendly close to you know, had to study, take a test out of it, or to put antidotes in the so they're using and just walk in and say, I'm going to do this. And something to like raise their
What's it like?
oh, here.
Yeah, we're into it, right? So, yeah, that's also a good one.
Really back to move to sad. So it's been
Yeah, it's good.
Yes, and you know, the advantage it has, the hate relations, absorbs the least. Over, you know, yeah. It's got the graph. Oh, really? Yeah. When we get into house, we need to conduct. As more. Like, really better down. So the penny, or thin, and the with somebody. And better than no kind. Yeah. Yeah, I know. Yeah. I think you're the church. Set up to participate. I mean, we're talking probably like right. Rather than nothing. She has in one eye, where she was very well. We introduced me to Have they ever say, please, you're supposed to stop? That was just right. So, thank you, this is for that. I mean, they can look at this day. That's what I'm saying. No, that's what I'm saying. Yeah. You know, to be in a group somehow, some sense of it. And yeah, and I think the other ones say, let's see that. Yeah. I have. Yeah. Go. Yeah. Yeah. Yes. You know that we love. I love golf. Oh, good. And I just. Cold Lake. Ah. Great job.
Thank you.
That was a good call for everyone. So
Haven't had that.
the woman next to me, I
yeah?
was too. She
Oh,
she
yeah?
has some.
Okay.
Some like slap from bits.
Yeah.
Yeah. She didn't see her. She's lovely.
Yeah. Did you work with her at some point? or-
No, I just heard a lot of good things about her.
Yeah.
And Marissa Delgado, who and I both know.
Okay.
World.
Yeah.
She placed.
Oh, okay. Okay.
She had really great things.
Yes, that's what I just took.
Yeah. Thank you very much.
Well, thank you for coming.
Thanks, I don't have to send that shit. Hi,
Are you at the Zoom as well? Yeah.
For having us here.
Oh, it was fascinating. Such a good talk.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
When you're talking about the elephants, I was thinking about that elephant that was born in, wasn't it DC?
Yeah.
Oh my
They
goodness.
had pictures of it.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Recently, it was so
Losing
cute.
his belt.
Yes, it's having a bath.
Yeah.
So it'll be awesome.
Yes.
You know?
Yeah. That's the plan.
Bye.
Bye. I think they turned on their elephant cam this week. We were too busy with Paul, so I couldn't tune in.
They had two of these. So, yeah, they should be nice. And this is where that, we had two those things shirt out. It's great to see you. One was not. It looked like it was 6 months older than what it was like 6 inches taller, but they was like playing and just kept like pushing it. Well, thank you. Yeah. So we'll head up to dinner. Okay. And do you need that sort of anything to show you? You're all set? Yeah. Yeah.
Definitely. We will be here. We are continuing with it. That was me.
I know.
Everyone was and I'm fresh. Nice to meet you.
Oh, I just leave these here. Got his card because I thought it's fun to go to the zoo.
Yes, I went out for lunch pizza.
Well, I used to go there. But anyway.